Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony. I'm really excited about today's video. I think this is going to be so much fun. But today I am doing the palette tag, which I saw Smoky Glow do it, so I will have her channel linked below as well. She's super great. I love her content, so go and check her out if you haven't already. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video, and let's jump right in. So first we're going to be starting out with my most used palettes. So this is the ColourPop Double Entendre palette. So that's what it looks like. Definitely one of my first ColourPop palettes. I absolutely love it so much, and I have used it a lot, and I do use it quite a bit, especially more in the fall time because I can get that nice like smoky eye. The next one up is the Makeup Revolution Roxy Contour and Highlight Palette. I use this palette all the time. This is one of my everyday palettes because I definitely do use it every day as well. So I just love this palette so much. It's a great travel palette because it has everything that I need: bronzer, highlighters, just whatever I need. Absolutely love this palette. So this is by far my most used palette because it's most consistent in my everyday life. And then another one for everyday use as well. I have the ColourPop Give It To Me Straight palette. So this one is another one that I use mostly in fall, but I can get some nice like summery looks out of it as well. And I just really love this palette. So this is another one of my everyday go-to palettes. And then I have my most colorful and my most boring. So my most colorful palette is the Makeup Revolution Tammy Tropical Carnival palette. She is the only rainbow palette that I own. I love this palette. I can get such really cool looks out of it. I did a sunset look for New Year's with this palette, and I absolutely loved it. So it was awesome going into 2020 wearing this on my eyes, and I loved that makeup look so much. Then for my most boring palette, I have the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Velvet Rose palette. This is not opened yet because I do have so many palettes that are open, but looking at it, it is my most boring palette because it is completely neutral. There's some like fun shimmers in here. This palette has really good reviews, but just looking at it, it's just like, it's a neutral palette. It's gonna be your most boring. Next up, we have my most expensive palette. So this is the ColourPop Bare Necessities palette. It has 30 shades in it. As you can see, it's still in the packaging. It hasn't been opened yet. My friend was supposed to get married in, I think about a week now, about 10 days she was supposed to get married, and we ended up having to push the wedding back. Well, they ended up having to push the wedding back, and I'm a bridesmaid in her wedding, and then I'm also doing makeup for some of the bridesmaids there, so I got this palette. Her and I thought that this would be a really good palette to do their makeup with as well, so we can go really neutral. It is a really beautiful palette, but I'm not going to open it until next year for the wedding. So then we have my newest palette, which these I actually bought at the same time. I got the Makeup Revolution Roxy Colorburst palette and the Baby Got Peach from ColourPop. So I know this one's a colorful palette and this one is like peachy and nudes, and I just haven't opened them yet because I do have so many open palettes that I kind of want to get through before I open them up. But I loved these palettes and I had to have them. I saw them online. I just wanted them really bad, so I bought them. Then we have my oldest palette. So by far my oldest palette is the Morphe 35G Bronze Goals Artistry palette. This palette is old, you guys. It's probably almost 2 years old. So I still actually have the little sheet that has all of the shade names on it. I keep that with it. I don't know why. But then this is the palette, and you can see I actually dropped it and this shadow cracked and like got everywhere, so I need to clean it really bad. But yeah, this is by far one of my oldest palettes, and I still love it. It still works really well, despite the fact that it is getting pretty old. Next up, I have my cheapest palette, and for that, I do have two of them. So these were actually free because I was buying things from the brands. So Ulta actually gave them to me for free because it was free gifts with purchase and I was already purchasing them. So I have the NYX Highlight and Contour palette here, and this is like a great little travel palette. I really, really enjoy it. I think it works so, so well. I absolutely do love this, and I get quite a bit of use out of it. The next one is the Milani Rosy Revenge Most Wanted eyeshadow palette. So it's a little 6-pan palette that I got for free. As you guys know, Milani makes one of my all-time favorite ride or die foundations. I was restocking on that and got the concealer, so I got this palette for free with purchase. Then we have my biggest palette, which I have two because they are the same size. It is my two Morphe palettes. And these are both 35 shades. They are huge, so I already showed you the 35G. But this is the 35I. As you can see, this palette is huge. It's got so many colors, so we do have like some darker shades right here on the bottom row, but otherwise it's like all pastels. They're really light. I really enjoy this palette, especially in the springtime. I can't get enough of it, and I mainly bought it because this packaging is so cute. I just love it. I think it looks so cool. Looks like ice cream to me or something. Then I have my smallest palette, which if I didn't get those two for free, this would also be my cheapest. This was $7. This is the I Heart Revolution Rose Gold Chocolate Palette. So it looks like that. And then it has a little mirror, and then you have all these little shades on the inside. But this is a really nice little compact palette. Then I have my palette with the best memories. So I actually have two that I chose for this. So these are the Funko Pop Disney Villains collection, I believe it is. But my boyfriend collects pops, and so I ended up buying a couple of like mine for his collection. But these he got me for Christmas, and I think it was so sweet because he bought something that I love and it's something that he loves as well, so it kind of tied both of us in the gift, and I really like it. So this is the Cruella palette. So we have 3 blushes and then a bronzer, and then it does come with a mirror as well. And this is the Maleficent palette, and I love the Maleficent movies. So the ones with Angelina Jolie, I think they're really cool. We just ended up watching them. But this is an eyeshadow palette. So it's got like darker colors, and then we have like this bottom row is like lighter colors, a couple shimmers in there. This palette is actually really nice. I was really surprised by the quality because sometimes like when they're gimmicky like this, they don't work very well. But this one, these actually do work really well. I love the blush palette. I use it a lot. Then we have a palette that was worth the hype. And this one, I definitely say is worth the hype, and I still use it all the time. This is the ColourPop California Love palette, and it is so, so, so beautiful. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I love like the browns and the golds, and I'm out of focus. There we go. I love the browns and the golds, and I love how neutral it is, but it's still kind of fun. This is like my go-to fall palette where I use it all the time. The blendability is just gorgeous. I just can't rave enough about this palette. I think it was definitely worth the hype. Then we have a palette that was not worth the hype, and this is the only one that I own that I don't particularly like, just because I had a difficult time with like the blendability of it and getting the shades to kind of blend in together. I did do a review video that I ended up not putting up because it was a total disaster and I just really didn't like it. But this is the Tasty Revolution. This is the I Heart Revolution Tasty Avocado palette. And this is what it looks like. And when I saw it, I was like, I need it. I need that palette. I love it. But I just really wasn't impressed with like the blendability of it, and it's definitely something that I need to play with more. Next up, we have my favorite palettes from my favorite brand. So I do have 2 of them, and these are just ones that I use a lot, that inspire me, that make me really want to do makeup. They make me want to grab for them. So the first up is the Makeup Revolution Roxy Ride or Die palette, and that's this one. So I can do like really simple, neutral looks. I can do some really fun looks. I can do some pops of color. When I look at this palette, I just get inspired to do something just out of my comfort zone or something that I would really not try. Colors that I wouldn't really put together, I end up putting together, and it comes up with some really cohesive looks. I think this is a really cohesive palette. I think she did a really good job on it. She's a YouTuber here as well. Her name is Roxasaurus. And next up I have the ColourPop She's Got Solstice palette, which is actually what I'm wearing today. I love this palette. This has become a new everyday palette for me, but I decided to put it in the category for favorite palette from favorite brand because this is probably my favorite ColourPop palette, which is shocking because I own so many of them and I love ColourPop whole as a brand. Their price point can't be beat, their quality can't be beat. I just really love it. So this is the She's Got Solstice palette. I also did a review video on this. I actually bought the whole collection. I love this palette. This palette is something that also inspires me to play around with color a little bit more. It's got this like nice green shimmer in here, which is to die for. I ended up using this pink shimmer on my lid and then popping a little bit of this foiled gold right in the center to make my eyes pop a little bit more. This is a great inner corner highlight, as you can see, and like a brow bone highlight. And this palette is just, it's so compact and little. It's so convenient. I can come up with really cohesive looks with it, and I can also play around and have a little bit of fun. Alright, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely got eyeshadow all over my bed, so that's gonna be a fun one to explain as to why there's eyeshadow all over the bed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye!